Hey everyone, today I'm doing a special kind of build video. This doesn't pertain to any specific marksman really, it's a general marksman build video. And because of that, it's largely focusing on gear, and I think no matter which marksman you're using, the gear slash essences is the most important part to building your marksman. And I know what a lot of you may be thinking, marksmen suck right now, why even bother, they don't do great damage, and overall, that's true. I do think with very specific builds, and especially with some of the new seasonal relics, they actually can be a decent secondary damage dealer. They're not going to be contending with your vanguards, they're not going to be contending with your champions. But if you want a ranged option that can do some good, solid softening to the enemies, especially these big beefy Fomorians, to then have your main damage dealer go in and kill them, I think they can work. And I know a lot of people like marksmen, like I do. They just like the animations, the play style. There's something about them that's just satisfying to use. It's just a numbers problem, right? So this is the build I've sort of come up with. I kind of have two I'm going to be going over. One much more heavily relies on the seasonal relics, and one does not. I'm going to be going over the one that does not first. And I'll kind of go over the skills a little bit. You can see here I'm using Sardamus because that's the marksman I picked up in this run. But the emphasis is really the gear and an essence in particular. But in case you're also doing a Tyrant Christian run, the sort of key damage dealing skills you're going to want to pick up, I think, is going to be long reach for the range and the upgrades on this, as they provide some decent damage buffs if you're at a certain distance. First shot to get that damage bonus to that first attack every round. Low profile is very useful for putting that soft taunt on the rest of your party. With the way you're going to be playing him, this can actually be quite good. Of course, you're taking crippling shot, that's his hardest hitting move. Poison arrow, it's a harder hitting move than your basic shoot. And then the upgrades on shoot, so that way if you're bringing someone who's doing burning, which you probably will be in a Tyrant Christian run, and poison because you can set that some extra damage there. So now for the gear. Base marksman damage isn't great. However, if you could double it, it'd be pretty good. And that's where this comes in. Essence of Mutilation, 10% chance to deal double damage. Now, I understand 10% isn't a whole lot, but thankfully, marksmen actually get a lot of options to add on to this. This effect does stack with the gear. With the weapon, 15% chance to deal double damage. With the accessory, another 15%. And with the charm, another 15%. That's 55% total. That means you have slightly higher odds than a coin flip to land this double damage. And when you hit it, you can actually do some decent damage. Now, previous to this seasonal content, the armor didn't really matter. I couldn't find anything that added additional double damage chance. But I did find this. When you kill a unit, you become hidden. And if you feed some kills to your marksman, you know, maybe a unit that's far away, so you don't have to waste AP sending your primary damage dealer after them to kill them, give the kill to your marksman instead. They get the kill, they become hidden, so now they'll get a surprise damage bonus on top of it. It won't be as strong as the vanguards, because vanguards have, you know, buffs and skills that increase their damage for that, but this modifier is definitely better than nothing for your marksman. So that's the first build that I plan to show you, is this sort of double damage build. The second one uses a lot more of the seasonal relics, and we'll get to that after I show off what this build in particular is capable of. So I'm doing the Weird Sisters level 23 endgame mission. It's a Fomorian mission, as you can see. So we're going to start moving Damus into a position to start getting some damage on him. You can see frontal attack. This is garbage, right? 2 armor, and what is that, like 13 damage? And you're like, yeah, that's about what I'd expect from a marksman. Well, the secret is you can't shoot them from the front. Kind of like vanguards, marksmen really excel as a backstab type of class. And you can see armor does a lot against them, so even still this isn't great. But you'll see if we go against this Slaughterer, for example, we keep this distance, so he has the soft taunt on him. And now, if we look at it, that's not so bad. That's even better. We do a crippling shot. He goes from 564 to 448. 119 damage. That's nothing to sneeze at. As a secondary damage dealer, we're not looking to try and get the kills, we're looking to set up the kills. And now, with our 2 attacks, we managed to take off about 240 health from this slaughterer. That's good. And we'll just sort of play defensive with these guys like we usually do. And Damas should be safe, even though he's close-ish to them. We do have that 6 tiles of distance between us, so his low profile should kick in. Yeah, you can see he's being ignored. Alright, excellent. And we go ahead and put a shot in him. 61, we didn't get the double damage there. 102, we did get it. So here you can see we did about 160 damage again. Fairly consistent. So he's now quite low. We can get another shot with him. He's kind of far, so we're actually going to try and left him at 1, right? Perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. We don't want to waste the AP to send our champion to go kill this one guy, so we'll secure the kill with our Damas. Now he's hidden. So, now we have Slaughter here, and we're hidden, so we do have the surprise damage bonus. Let's go ahead and put a crippling shot. Backstab, surprise attack, double damage, hit him for 173. Just straight up got the kill there. And we're back into hidden. Let's go ahead and take out that totem. That counts as a kill, so we're back into hidden, and we'll just position ourselves better for another turn. Find out how to take this. So we have some movement AP, so we can actually start putting some attacks onto this person, soften them up for our champion on our follow-up turn. Another 173, very solid. And just pop a poison arrow into him. Another 98, so that was like 270 damage, I think. That's really good, honestly, especially for a marksman. You can see we're getting a lot of that double damage bonuses. Stacking that on top of backstab, surprise attacks, it can really add up and make a solid contribution to softening the targets. And now, thanks to our marksman softening, we were able to kill that sorcerer chick much more efficiently with our Black Knight. You can see his damage had dropped off because I had sent him to get souls, and he wasn't getting a lot of rage damage, so he wasn't able to just straight up one-shot that enemy. But thanks to all the work our Damas put in, he was able to get him with a cleave, the free attack went into her, and then the power attack able to finish her off. If you're curious about that weird cinematic, this isn't the first time I've done that mission, so I know a Banshee is supposed to kind of rise from her grave. It just didn't, so I'm guessing that was just kind of a bug. So next, we'll use dash, move to here.
Power and glory.
Just... Fortunately, we can't backstab a totem, so you can see that infamous marksman damage kind of coming up there with a 36. There you have it. That is the double damage build I run. There's a lot of sort of stacking damage modifiers that I'm using, and you can see it's quite effective. You saw how much damage he was going to be doing frontal against a Fomorian with all that armor. Absolutely terrible against a Fomorian who had their back turned, didn't have armor, maybe it was broken off, in case, you know, you do end up shooting against beastmen or something in the future. It's great. I mean, 270-ish damage on that one sorceress, almost 300 damage. For a marksman, that's crazy. For a secondary damage dealer, just in general, also really good for softening your targets to have your vanguard or your champion go kill them. So that was the double damage build. Next for you, I have the seasonal relic build. This is a lot less sort of gimmicky, and it's just really using the new powerful seasonal relics. And I do think Marksman got some really good ones. For the armor, there's this Netherwalker seal. This is definitely the preferred one that I like for the Marksman. You saw it in the previous build. The ability to get hidden and get that surprise attack bonus is just very useful for your Marksman, picking off some of those side targets that your primary guy maybe can't reach. Any damage bonus is useful. Now, the bow I prefer is Mark of the Stormchild, and that's because this has an extremely high base damage. The plus 8 weapon damage giving it 34. This is plus 11 over the Bolt of Death. The AoE damage percentage chance is nice. It's not anything super great, but it is nice, especially if you hit this on a double damage proc, which still does exist a little bit with this build. But the plus 18 damage against units larger than one tile, that's like most Fomorians, everything except a Warg. And applying a 15% vulnerability to cause your next follow-up attack to maybe hit harder. So I really like this bow. For the charm, this is a plus 11 damage to damage over time effects, so poison damage will be stronger. -1 cooldown for poison arrow, so we can use that pretty much every turn. And plus 12 damage to poison bomb. This is nice because poison bomb damage is just terrible. I'm not too sure this is enough. I haven't really used poison bomb even with this. And it has a blood magic effect. After you deal 200 damage, basic attacks get a 25% damage buff and a 15% bleed effect, which would obviously then also stack with this first line there, damage over time effects deal 11 damage, or plus 11 damage. Now again, for Marksman, 200 damage may seem like a lot, but you've kind of seen how Marksman playstyle kind of works, going for those backstabs and stuff. It's not going to be as hard to get as you may think. Now, the way seasonal relics work, the effects do upgrade as you get more Spire shards. You can see how it tracks here in the Soul Merchant. And the more shards you get, the more certain effects will upgrade. You can see this one doesn't exist on the armor. There is no upgradable effect, but there is here on the bow. It's that green line, that 22% chance that can go up, just like this damage over time effect can also go up. I am still using the Gem of Guileful Death for 15% double damage. It also has a plus 6 to maximum weapon damage, which is quite good. And then the essence here, so we still have a 25% chance to deal double damage. A little less than half from the other build, but 25% chance isn't bad, 1 in 4. Now, if you don't have this here, or you just don't want to use it, you can actually get a seasonal relic guaranteed drop from one of the missions, the Cloven Hoof. This lets you summon a friend to help you, but also has some useful effects for a marksman. You can see here plus 5 damage against a unit that's at least 6 tiles away. So there is some there. Gain 8 damage for 1 turn after using a movement skill, say like using dash. And it also does have an execution ability. The Culling Strikes ability, if they're below 50% health, it kills them. This can definitely help secure kills with your marksman, and combos well with the Netherwalker Seal to get the hidden. So, just for the sake of showing the full seasonal build, I suppose, I will be using this for this build, but just know that if you do have this item here, you can keep it for the 25% chance, and I think that also works pretty well in comparison. So, full seasonal build, let's go ahead and see what it can do. Right. Same exact mission, same exact fight. I think it's good for doing a comparison test. We're going to do the same thing as before. We're going to dash to cover some distance, and then move into a spot where we can get backstabs. We need to do one more, I think. There we go. So, you can see here already, our normal shot is going to do a little over 100 damage. That's pretty good. We do crippling shot. That's a huge damage chunk right there. 191, and that was without the double damage. And I think we can just take a step back and we should be pretty safe because of the low profile. And we're just going to play sort of defense with these guys, kind of like how I normally do. And yeah, just pass. Alright, so last turn we did about 210 damage. Again, no double damage procs. I didn't see them. Maybe I missed it. But we're gonna keep putting damage in, right? Let's go ahead and use our Black Knight, cleave some armor off of these guys. See how much damage we do to this Beastman. 140. That's pretty good. That's who our Black Knight's next to, so we're going to want to soften these targets. Let's go ahead and sink a backstab in here. I actually think we could kill him. We have the Culling Strike, so it would kill him. Let's find out. Ooh, not quite. But you can see we got the damage proc off. The lightning hit a good amount of enemies. Did about, what was that? 27 to him. So, not a huge amount, like I said, but every little bit can add up. And let's just summon Wargy, because why not? And now we can see this enemy is ripe for the picking for our primary damage dealer here. Get an easy kill to get the free swing on this guy. And now there you go. Able to kill off the other enemy due to having the free kill or the free attack swing come off of this dude who was weakened by our Marksman. And our Dama should still be safe. Low profile is such a great move. Alright, so now we're going to send in our Galahad. Have him use this taunt, turn around this Slaughterer. Do this to get a little extra AP. Killing the totem, as you know, grants us hidden, so now we can do a nice opener on him. We may be able to kill him, yeah, if we use our crippling shot here. 252 Culling Strikes, finished him off, got the execution, we're back into hidden, so we're safe from this warg. Do we have enough? We do have enough for another shot, so we're actually going to sink a shot into him. Nice, 28. So that way we can get an easy kill with our champion to keep his momentum going a bit more. There's the Banshee that was missing last time. Wargy is also quite useful for being able to just run around and pick up souls. Just a nice utility thing to keep in mind. So then we use our dash, move up to here. I think that should be a backstab. Nice. Just straight up get the kill there. And then we can just let our champion focus on killing the totem. And that's game. There you have it. That is the seasonal build for Marksman. It does actually really good damage, the kind of damage you'd want to see from your secondary damage dealer. They're putting out numbers that contribute to the party, can very consistently and much more easily set up kills for your primary damage dealers. They have that nice range. Sardamus in particular, I think, is probably the best marksman right now because this low profile ability just combos so well with their playstyle of kind of needing to position a bit more aggressively to get those backstabs. But this does work with other marksmen. I have tested it with them. You can do some really good damage. You don't even need to play that aggressively. You can position a bit more defensively and still set up those backstabs. Backstabs really are just pretty key to this, and the Relic gear is just so good. I would still prefer a direct buff to marksmen through their skill trees, maybe a rework, some buffs to base stats, things like that. But the devs did say that marksman got a pretty good indirect buff through the seasonal relic gear, and they did not lie. You saw it yourself. Doing 250 damage in a single attack for a marksman, I don't think anyone was expecting to see damage numbers like that going into the endgame. Yet, there it was. Backstab surprise attack. Didn't even get double damage. Between the two builds, obviously, I think it's pretty clear that the seasonal build is stronger than the double damage non-seasonal build. The first one has RNG to it, and that RNG applies to both in combat, relying on getting that double damage proc, even though it is a pretty frequent occurrence. And also RNG in terms of getting the gear to show up in your enchanted tower, at your merchant, or dropping off of a mission. This gear is just solidly acquirable 10 out of 10 times. It's always going to be on the soul merchant. The cloven hoof is always going to drop from that mission. So this is a concrete set goal you can aim for to build up your marksman. Now, obviously you'll need souls to get to this build, so this is kind of like the stage 2 build if I were to kind of order them. And if you still want to use the marksman before you get into it, and you're lucky enough to be getting some of the double damage pieces like Bolt to Death, you saw they can still contribute fairly well with the other build. So there's a couple options. One kind of feeds into the other even. I hope this was helpful and a bit eye-opening that marksmen are in fact usable as a secondary damage dealer to, I think, a surprising level for many people. Just start stacking up those souls and spire shards and aim for these pieces and just let the arrows fly. As always, thanks for watching.